Hello everybody, good to see you again. Today's video, you'll be happy to know, doesn't have any felting in it at all. Today's video actually is going to throw us back to July, and I'm going to share with you what I did a lot of July in a little event from Facebook. And it involves yarn and spinning and knitting. So without any further ado, let's see what I was up to. We start with fiber, of course. And so here's some Spinnery Store fiber. That's the cherry that I love right there. And then there's something called nut. And that's a nice, it's not too light. It's beautiful. There's olive, which is another favorite. This is the flame orange and then the dark brown. And I put all those together into what ended up being my very favorite combination of color. It was really great. So this is the first yarn I did, the first singles, and this is the olive and the nut and the cherry, and it was so gorgeous that I fell in love with it. I loved it so much that I was tempted to do both of my singles this way and just spin them together and have nothing but this color because I love it so much. It's just a very rich fall color. But I did go ahead and do my midnight blue. This is a totally different combination with rolags that look like this. And then when I spun up this single, it looked like that. I wasn't too enthused, so let's see what happens. Hi everybody. This little video is all about an event called the Tour de Fleece. This is a fiber arts spinning kind of event on Facebook. It's now a private group. For a long time it's a public group, and then they close it off when they actually start the event. It happens every July. It's been going on for about a decade, and people, this is so silly, people set themselves some kind of a spinning or yarn challenge during July, during the Tour de France. Okay, so it only goes from like the 1st to the 24th, and it's very laid back. You can set any kind of challenge you want. My challenge has been to spin up as much of this yarn, I'll put a picture here, as possible for the sweater I'm going to make, which I really still haven't decided exactly what sweater I want. I'm hemming and hawing on that. Anyway, I thought I would catch you up on how I'm hand carding these rolags, because, and I want to thank whatever commenter it was months and months ago who told me I was overloading my cards and I was also loading them too high up toward the handle, and I needed to load them on the bottom. That really improved my carding a lot. So let me just show you what I'm doing with this particular rolag look, a color blend, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. Over here I have my fiber that I ordered from the Spinnery Store. I got 4 ounces each of the cherry, the nut brown, and the olive. So now I should have plenty to finish up the sweater. And then as accent colors, I've got the dark brown and the flame orange. Okay, so as per advice, I'm trying not to really get any up here. I'm focusing on the bottom of the card. I don't know, is that the top or the bottom? Anyway, the long edge without the handle. Put my hand down and do that. Now, what I've realized really helps your spinning is that the purpose of this carding, since these fibers are all going the same way already, I'm really just putting them together in a rolag. I don't want to blend the colors much, because if I over blend them like I used to do, you just get kind of muddy yarn. It's very discouraging to do all that work and then get this color that's not very attractive. So I want to keep the colors distinct. That's the first thing. So I don't want to overblend the colors. I also don't need to over process or over card these because the fibers are already going in one direction. So I'm really just doing just one single pass. Now I'm going to put this brown accent on this end with the olive green and the nut brown. And I'm just going to do one of that. And I'm going to put the flame orange, you know, in the red tones down with the other red tone down here. And I'll just do one pass of that. Now, one thing, I didn't do a great job here, but one thing that's important is that all the tines of this comb show through, okay? Because the goal is to pull the fiber through the combs, because the real goal of this is to separate these fibers just a little bit more, because they're kind of clumped together. If I tried to spin straight from this, I might be a little frustrated because I would get these clumps, something like that would just spin through and be thick. And I really don't want that. I want all the fibers to separate all the way. So when I pre-draft it, I want to really be able to pull it so that it's, you know, thin all the way through. I love a draft that looks like this where I can see my fingers through it. And that's what gives me the best single, which gives me the best plied yarn. And so if I have these thick sections, that makes for really a bad single. For me, that's just for me. Some people really like that thick ropey stuff. But the way that you separate those fibers is to make sure they pass through these combs. So if I've got a chunk, like here, I've kind of got a chunk that's sitting on the top. If I pull that off onto this carder, and I don't get it combed through there and separated, I'm going to end up with a big hunk of brown. So I kind of tilt this way, and I very slowly take these top ones. I want to make sure that I pass them through. And now, when you look at the bottom edge here, I can see all the tines along this edge when I keep them at this angle like this. Okay, I'm kind of pulling it down, almost like water going over the edge of a waterfall. It's very pretty. Now notice how I am keeping my colors with each other. I'm going to keep all the cherry on this end. Everything is going to be pretty I mean, they'll blend a little bit. I don't mind if they blend some, but I just don't want it to turn to mud. I've done that before and it was not very fun. And then eventually I try to get more off, and I will put the end of this comb, I'll actually rest it on my knee. I'm pressing against my knee and really pulling this one up. And now I've got enough of the fiber off that those little tines are really doing their magic. And it just takes a little bit of, I really don't want to pull it off in big hunks, again, for the same reason I described before. And so I'm going to take my time and pull it off in little bits. The goal really is to, if you do process your fiber that you get on a drum carder, a blending board, hand carders, hackle, whatever you want to do, you want to make sure that you are producing the fiber that you want to spin with and that will give you the result you want. Now, as I get toward the end, especially on that other end, sometimes it's hard to get it off. So I'll take it and lift it off very gently and just place it there, making sure that all the fibers are still going in the same direction. I'll try to put some of the brown in the middle, the olive green on the other end. Keep them all where they're supposed to go. Okay, so now they're all on this card. Then I turn this card upside down, lay this one on top, put my hand gently here, and just turn this one and roll it off. So now this one's empty and I can put it aside. Then I turn this one toward me. And again, all those fibers are going the same direction. And so I just as gently as possible, keeping it, I don't want to tighten it up. I want to keep it loose like a little cloud. I roll it up and I put it over here in my little basket. So right now, you can ignore the white one over there. I haven't used it yet. Right now, I've got 3 of these that have the olive. You can see this one's slightly different color. This is where I ran out of the cherry and I had to use something else for a while, but I ordered more cherry because I really wanted that. Okay, so that's a little description of how I'm making my rollags for the Tour de Fleece. And I'll keep you updated on my progress on that. I'm really thinking about making a vest, an open front vest. You call that a cardigan vest? I don't know. Instead of a V-neck pullover jumper. because I think I'll wear the vest more. I have one vest that's knitted. I didn't knit it. Bought it at the thrift store, and I love it so much. I love the whole style, the pattern, the look, the color. I wish I could imitate that vest. Anyway, but I'm looking for a pattern that might work for me, and maybe that's what I'll make. And since it's a vest and no sleeves, I'll need less yarn, and I might actually have a chance of finishing it. After some adjustments, that blue combo ended up looking better. It really, it changed a lot. My color blending changed a lot over the course of the project. So here I am spinning up some of the blue. It's a spinning morning, says Leo. Leo is in his spinning spot. Hello, sweetheart. He likes to sit here by the window, which is very close to my spinning wheel, which is right there. I've mentioned the Tour de Fleece, which I think is a hilarious name. Now, this first hank, I'm going to stop calling these skeins because they're not skeins. Maybe I should, well, I won't talk about that. Okay, so that's a hank. That's the first one that I did at the end of June, so technically it doesn't qualify for the Tour de Fleece because it has to be after the 1st of July. It doesn't matter, really. And this is the second one. It's a little darker. You know, I'm kind of adjusting my colors. Let me get them out and talk about that. Now, one thing that changed a bit between this hank and this hank is that I ran out of the cherry yarn at some point. Now, I did have some cherry in here, but I think that's why this one a little darker. I'll show you on the bobbin that I'm working on right now. So here's the bobbin on my wheel. Now, this color right here is the cherry. It's pretty red. It's a pinky red, but it's more in the red family. Here, when I ran out of it before, this is the color I replaced it with. And you can see that's more of a purple. They really are not the same at all. I'm trying to remember what that color is. I think it must be this color. That looks about right. So I kind of wish I could just take that one out of there because I still do love that combination. That color doesn't even seem to go. It's almost a cool color in among a whole bunch of warm colors. But it's okay. It will all spin out in the end. Well, my roll lag basket is empty except for this one little thing here, which I'm not going to use. So it is time to make some more. I'm binge watching Kate and having lots of fun today. The Tour de Fleece continues. Today is July 21st, so I have 3 days left to keep spinning. And so here is my basket of Rolags. I just made all these. This is a pile. There's probably 10 or 12 in there. I kind of didn't count, but I have been weighing them. There's a little over 50 grams. With the bobbin, it should be about 105 to 109 grams. That will equal in weight this bobbin, which is my lovely olive green and cherry bobbin, and this is my midnight blue. Now, I ran out of this pale blue partway through, totally out. So I switched to this blue, which is one of the blues that I got at the store in Franklin, North Carolina, just earlier this month. So we're going to see how that does. Actually, it might even be better because this is a nice warm color. This is kind of a cool color. It's a lighter, I don't know. I just think that this might work better. Maybe I should have tried it before. It's a soft merino. It's just like all the other. So I'm really excited. I've got to, okay, so I have 3 days. I have to spin all of this up onto a bobbin, this empty bobbin, and then I have to apply that with this, which doesn't take very long. It's the spinning that takes forever. And then that will be my 4th hank of yarn, and I think maybe that'll be enough to make a vest. I can't make the vest this month, obviously, before the end of the Tour de France, and the Tour de Fleece, but I can get the hanks made. Okay, so that's it for the rolag making, and if I have anything else I can add before the next 3 days are over, I will be sure to put it on here. Thanks for staying with me through this. When I applied the two together, this is what I got, which I wasn't too unhappy with. But then when I put it into a hank, it looked like this. And the orange and cherry tones really come out. There's so much variation in it. So that just goes to show you when you're spinning, even when you're spinning singles or plying it together, as I'm doing here, you really never know what the finished yarn is going to look like. I did get 4, and you can see the color variation among those 4. I was quite excited to actually reach my goal for the Tour de Fleece. Yes, I did. Now let's spin it into a ball. This is how I do it. Some people have their husbands hold it between their hands. Boy, this takes forever. I think maybe we'd better speed it up. There you go. One finished ball, and here is a little bit of the knitting for my sweater vest, which I'll be sharing with you in yet another video. Thanks for stopping by. See ya.